drought. See, for the last 3.5 years, large swaths of the U.S. have been in the most severe drought, largely due to an even longer 14-year drought in the Rocky Mountains that has led to low snowpack and a drying up of the Colorado River. The Colorado River and its tributaries serve as the water source for 40 million people in cities from San Diego to Phoenix. And this development, compounded with the lack of rainfall across the Southwest, is leading to unprecedented water shortages. More than half the land area in 7 states is experiencing severe drought, the 3rd highest level according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. Not to mention that at least 30% of each of these states are experiencing extreme drought, the 2nd highest level, which is characterized by the mass die-off of crops and a lack of adequate water sources. Besides Oklahoma and Texas, which are dealing with their own water crises, the 5 states also running out of water stretch across the American West and Southwest. Starting in Arizona, where the water reservoir levels are 2/3 of its usual average. Of course, the continuing mass use of artificial irrigation methods is not helping the cause, considering that more than 2/3 of Arizona's water is being used to irrigate fields, according to the Arizona Department of Water Resources. 2 rivers have been completely dried up in southern Arizona, and over the last century, groundwater levels in the state have dropped hundreds of feet. This has led to the state's farmers to develop ingenious methods for reducing water runoff, and shockingly, the state uses the same amount of water it did in 1955, when it had 1/12 the population size. However, even with all these measures, there's still clearly not enough water to go around, demonstrating just how serious this drought has been. Moving on to Kansas. Extreme drought now covers nearly the entire southern half of the state, and one of Kansas's biggest cash crops is suffering greatly as a result. Kansas's wheat harvest is expected to be the lowest in 18 years, and drought conditions have even expanded even further into the Midwest, including parts of Nebraska. However, the situation in New Mexico is much worse, where water storage is just barely above half its normal average. More than 86% of the state is experiencing severe drought as of last week. And despite state-enforced water sharing agreements and restrictions, the newly released agricultural census shows that New Mexico farmers are taking a big hit since the drought began. In fact, the average net income per farm in the state has dropped from just over $17,500 in 2007 to $9,500 in 2012, the most recent year full data is available. But move 2 states over to the west, in Nevada, and you'll see an even worse water crisis. This year, the Lake Mead Reservoir, which provides water to Las Vegas and Los Angeles, will be reduced by 750,000 acre-feet. That amount is enough to provide water to 1.5 million homes. Now, thankfully, Las Vegas does recycle all of its indoor water to return to Lake Mead, but even this measure is not doing nearly enough to keep up sufficient water levels at the reservoir. But if all of this sounds bad, it's nothing compared to the state that has suffered the most, California. The entire Golden State is experiencing severe drought, and 75% of all land area is under extreme drought. According to a meteorologist at the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Brad Rippey, at the current usage rate, California has less than 2 years of water remaining. Yes, this is how bad this crisis has become. Nearly every sign now points to a lasting and possible permanent water crisis there. Snowpack in the Sierra Nevada mountain range is 70% below normal. Groundwater levels are falling by more than 800 billion gallons a year in the Central Valley. And the federal water allocation for many of the state's farms has been cut to 0 for the first time ever. So while Washington continues to have a faux debate over whether climate change is real, the citizens of these states don't have time to wait for a solution, because they know firsthand what politicians can't seem to grasp, that without water, the debate is over.